Hello, this is Amber Rain Davis, and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog at notableink.com. Today I'm making a card for the Altenew Educator certification program. This was actually the level 1 challenge. This was one card in my pair of cards for that challenge. The challenge was to create a his and her card set. For this card, we'll be using the Golden Feather and Trigonometry stamp sets, as well as the Sentiment set from Avery Elle. This card was so fun to make, and I think you're going to love the Trigonometry stamp set. So what I've done is go ahead and decide on a diagonal design for this card. I thought that went well with the triangles from the Trigonometry set. So I'm using a combination of the stamps and the 2 dies that are included in the set. There's actually 3 dies. I did not separate the 2 triangles that you see there on the bottom right. I kept those together as they were shipped. And I'm going to dry emboss those. You'll see that later in the card. For masculine cards, I tend to stay with a neutral palette. And in this particular case, I'm using a green and a warm gray. In order to get good coverage, you'll see me stamp these twice. This is what I absolutely love about any kind of stamping tool, is that it gives you the opportunity with those solid stamps to stamp things more than once for great coverage. So that's been fantastic. Well worth the cost. So here you see I went ahead and dry embossed those and ran them through my die cutting machine, so it just impressed that into the surface. I'm now going to add a sentiment from the Golden Feather stamp set from Altenew. This is the large hello from that stamp set. I would absolutely love an entire sentiment set made with this particular font. I absolutely love it. I love how bold it is. I like the wavy edges of it. It's such a fantastic font that they've used here. This was stamped in VersaFine Black Onyx ink, which I will then clear heat emboss. It adds a really nice finished touch to the project. You're going to see that I totally forgot to use the embossing bag before I started to put on the embossing powder, and so you're going to see that it covered that ink because that ink wasn't totally dry yet on the triangles. So I thought, okay, well, let's go ahead and clear heat emboss all of those. So I got the powder over all of them. There wasn't great coverage on the 2 triangles, the middle one and the bottom right. And so what I ended up doing was just knocking off all of that clear heat embossing off of the triangles. I thought that that would also help to make the hello really pop as well. So the only thing that'll be clear heat embossed is the hello sentiment. And then actually I'm going to do a sub sentiment as well. The triangles will remain just matte in appearance. So it is helpful to heat emboss from above and below the card to help minimize some of the warping. After this video, I actually bought the Wagner heat tool, and I do have to say that that heat tool is worth every penny, because I do find that I get much less warping with that particular product as compared to the previous tool that I had that you see in this video. So this sentiment, my friend, is from the Avery Elle Sentiment stamp set that you saw at the beginning of the video. And the reason that I added a sub-sentiment is because that dotted triangle that you see there from that die was actually smaller than the other triangles. So adding the sub-sentiment helped to finish off that bottom line, and the bottom of that sentiment now matches up with the triangles that are dry embossed next to it. So it's visually more pleasing having that sub-sentiment there. So once that's heat embossed, I'm going to die cut that to make it smaller. I lined up the edge of that die with the triangles on the bottom right so that I made sure that I had it lined up well. Ran that through the die cutting machine, and then we're going to pop this up onto the card front. I needed a way to bring in that green one more time, and I did not have cardstock in that color. So this is a technique that I used from the Altenew Educator certification program, from the videos there. I think this was Irresistible Inking was the class that this was from. So I'm just going around the perimeter of the card and adding that green ink. This piece of cardstock is cut 1/8 of an inch larger on each side than my die cut panel, stamped panel. And again, what I'm going to do is heat emboss these edges so that it's nice and shiny like my sentiment. So I'm going to go around with the clear heat embossing powder, and then we'll heat set that. So this is a great technique to add just a little bit more color to your project without it being overwhelming. It's a really nice technique. So you're going to see we're going to heat that up. And now we'll pop up the panel. So I'm going to glue that directly to that green piece, and then we'll pop up the green piece on some fun foam to add a little dimension to the card. It adds a nice kind of hefty feel to the card. It feels a little more professional and sturdy. So I do like to pop it up. This is 1.5 inch Scor-Tape, Be Creative tape, very similar products there. I absolutely love this adhesive. This is like one of those things where if I ran out, I'd be really sad. So I always want to make sure I have enough on hand. It's a fantastic adhesive, and I love the thickness of it. All right, so we're gonna pop this up with some fun foam. So this is adhesive fun foam, which is what I typically use. It's already got adhesive on one side, then I can just add my Scor-Tape to the other side and we're good to go. So I'm just eyeballing it to be a little, probably like 1/8 of an inch less in size on each side. We'll peel that off and then get the Scor-Tape on. So we'll just get that onto the card front, and with this particular card I decided not to embellish it, to keep it nice and simple. You can see how nice and shiny the green cardstock is, and the hello and my friend sentiments. And then the dry heat embossing I think adds a nice sophisticated touch. I do hope you enjoyed this card today. If you did, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and my blog at notableink.com. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a great day.